When did your parents realize their rule was insane? Last winter, my dad wanted us to do something crazy. From now on, it's lights out by 5 p.m. sharp. Now, most people wouldn't think it's a big deal, but for my 6-year-old sister who relied heavily on her nightlight, it was practically torture. When Dad told us about the new rule, my little sister Hope immediately started crying. No, I'm scared. There's monsters. Stop being such a baby, Dad said coldly. When I was your age, we didn't even have electricity. My mom tried to reason with him. She's only 6, and I don't think a nightlight would be a big deal, but my dad wouldn't budge. You're coddling her. She needs to toughen up. Now, this is my house and my rule, so I don't want to hear it. So with that, Dad went over to each of our rooms, removing anything that had a light source involved. Our lamps, our starry night projector, and of course, Hope's adorable unicorn nightlight. Hope cried her eyes out on the couch, watching Dad store everything away in a sealed box. That first night, we heard her whimpering in the dark every hour. Dave and I exchanged looks. This was war. Dave and I pooled our money and bought every glow-in-the-dark item we could find at the dollar store. We covered Hope's room in glowing stars, painted her walls with phosphorescent paint, and put stickers on every piece of furniture. We even set up jars of bioluminescent algae that we ordered online, telling Dad they were just harmless science projects. Hope slept peacefully that night, but that only made him suspicious. The night after that, he found out that everything glowed in the dark, and he quickly removed it. Dad, stop! They're not even plugged in. They're just glowing, Dave explained. Those are still lights, Dad said, ending the conversation right there. But it wasn't over. Dave had come up with an even crazier idea. He spent an entire afternoon setting up an elaborate mirror system that redirected light from our neighbor's backyard floodlight. At night, when the floodlights came on, it bounced from mirror to mirror and reached Hope's room, right above her bed. When Dad discovered it, he honestly seemed impressed at first, but clearly still mad enough to take everything down the following day. No redirecting any outside light sources into the house. Our third attempt was probably when things got out of hand. We borrowed an outdoor extension cord from our neighbor and set up an entire light camp outside Hope's window. We had bright lanterns and Christmas lights set up. It wasn't glowing, it wasn't redirected, and it was completely outside her room. But this time, it was our neighbor that complained about the bright lights late at night, so Dad had enough. No lights on our property after 5 p.m. Hope hugged us and gave a sad smile. Thank you for trying. That's when we knew we couldn't give up. Dave and I brainstormed all night, going over all the new rules Dad added. Then it hit me. We waited until both our parents left for their Saturday date night, and then we executed Operation Let There Be Light. It took us 4 hours, but we completely switched Hope's room with our parents' master bedroom. Every single piece of furniture was moved. Hope's princess bed went where their king bed was. Their heavy dresser got dragged down the hall. We even moved the pictures on the walls and the clothes in the closets. The master bedroom that always naturally got light from the street lamp outside the property was now Hope's, and the darkest room in the house was now our parents'. When our parents came home at 10 p.m., they walked into their master bedroom and froze. What the? Why is Hope's bed here? Where's all our stuff? Dad asked, extremely confused. Your bed's in Hope's old room, the dark one down the hall, Dave called out cheerfully. Hope's room is here now, I explained. We heard Dad storm down the hallway to Hope's old room, now pitch black. Dad tried to navigate in the complete darkness. He reached for the light switch out of habit. No lights! All three of us yelled. It's after 5 p.m. This is ridiculous. I need to find my— Ow! He hit his toe hard against the bedpost. We listened to Dad stumbling around, cursing under his breath, trying to find his pajamas in total darkness. But Dad still stubbornly refused to admit his rule was ridiculous. So we did one last thing to seal the deal. At 3 a.m., Hope and Dave stood beside Dad's side of the bed, dressed in pure white, looking creepy as heck. They giggled and whispered Dad's name. Dad woke up screaming, "Monster!" scrambling for a lamp that wasn't there. They ran off while Dad fell from the bed, bumping into the cabinets and drawers all over the room. After 20 minutes of crashing around in the dark, Dad finally found the lights and gave up. We need a nightlight, he said. So in the morning, he returned everything from the box and went out to buy more nightlights to use in each room, never mentioning the 5 p.m. rule again.